Weekend in, weekend out, Motorsport Australia officials are making waves. From waving flags, waving cars through pit lane, or responding to a wave for help. Wave hello to new lifelong friends. Who knows, you might just make waves around the world. Ride the first wave. Search Motorsport Australia officials today.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another night of Formula 4 racing action. And it's the Formula 4 Esports Australian Championship tonight. We're journeying to one of the newest circuits on the iRacing service. It's a tough and challenging little place, so much so that there is actually no real garages to speak of down in the pit lane, which means pit stops not going to be on the cards for tonight. That prevents a unique little challenge. It also is a tight and twisty little affair. Qualifying is probably going to be the most important aspect of the racing here tonight. Probably the most important qualifying session of the season. Get it on pole, convert that start, could convert yourself a race win very, very easily thereafter. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is, of course, Scott Rankin, alongside of Dave Roberts. And again, as usual, Jay gets paid the pretty penny to sit behind the scenes and make everything we do just look that much more brilliant. And Dave, this place, have you turned a few laps? It's just a cultural icon, this little place. It's tough, it's technical, it's really, really narrow, and it's challenging to drive around.
Yeah, Scott, I love this little place. I've known it for a long, long time. I've never been there. But a good mate of mine raced F3 in the UK for a while, and certainly he got pole here in an F3 race in his little Dallara, and he said it's a ball to drive. But it is a beast of a circuit, and called the Mini Nürburgring. And I've known about this for so long. It's always been a soft spot of mine. Hard to drive, really hard to drive. That hall bends up the mountain and through the hall bends and into the hairpin is just so tight and twisty. But the other end, around turn 2, 3, Charlie's Park, straight down a park, absolutely super fast, but narrow. All the way it's narrow. Lots of big accidents here, and I expect we'll see a couple tonight.
And it reminds me of British circuits of old too, with the narrowness. That's the big factor to this one, isn't it? It's, you know, much like the Goodwood actual racing circuit. It's just basically your older style British circuits. They're all incredibly narrow. It's all about setting up your passes and making sure that you slam that door closed when you got the opportunity. Racing of years gone by, and also you get to see so many lovely little shots of out the back into the pits area of this place as well. What do the points standings look like for our sport drivers? Once again, 120 points. Daniel McCrowan did not finish last week, did not put points on the board. Jean Zhu was not in attendance either, so the margin up at the front hasn't changed. 20 points still is what it looks like for our sport drivers. Jim Stoddart did put some points on the board last week. Colangelo didn't as well. Also dramas for quite a number of the drivers, but check this out. Tied on points for 5th spot. Jack Humphreys has made some ground as well. Raymaker's a little bit further back. Willie Blair and Mason Harvey rounding out your top 10. And we talked about it. We both hated Laguna Seca coming into it, but honestly, it's been the round of the season thus far.
Yeah, it's funny, Laguna Seca. I don't like that place. I really don't, but I always go well there. It's a circuit that seems to suit me. But this place, I reckon this is going to be patience. It's all about patience tonight. So we'll see how they go. No pit stops. I mean, there never is in sport and pro. We're not going to see a pit stop, which changes the complexion of the race. I think that's really interesting. There's only 6 pit bays, so a bit hard to park 30 cars, five per pit bay. Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to this tonight, and it's a beautiful, picturesque circuit. Lots of trees overhanging. You know, it's gorgeous, and it's a brand new track from iRacing, so it's got all the latest on it. Here we go.
Well, this is the qualifying standings, and this is how they come to us. Ethan Morris is going to take pole position and give us a new driver who will sit on the pole. Right off alongside of him, and a tenth of a second further back, Kane Kugamiya has got some work to do. A little bit of toe might help him along. Your series leader, Daniel McCrone, will start off alongside the youngster in Ocean Colangelo. This will be a really, really interesting row to watch off of row number 2. Ian Zhu has got some work to do. 4.5 tenths back off the lead. Guess what? Only 11 thousandths further back. Scotty Bartain, good to see him back in attendance. Ran in the pro last time out. Unfortunately, hasn't been able to make the journey here for the Formula 4s, but does join us for the sport category. Matt Morris was extremely quick in pre-qualifying last time out. He starts a little bit further back for this one. He's managed to qualify his way in alongside of Mason Harvey. Tyson Hanna all the way down in 9th spot. Leo Dreyer will start off alongside of him just to round out our top 10. Ben Ryder and James Raymakers out towards the 11th and 12th spot. These guys are out over a second. So last week the field was incredibly close. This week much, much closer together. Jim Stoddart is sitting quite well in terms of championship standings. Nathan Favero will start off alongside of him. Favero slipped a few spots after last week. Willie Blair, we've seen him inside the top 10 in terms of championship standings this season. John Wade in the OG Gear Esports. I can tell you I've got some of their new gloves that have just arrived today, and boy was I keen to get in amongst those. Chris Barnes and Reese Rowland are going to be 17th and 18th off of the grid. A little bit further back, Matthew Bakir and Aiden Schweikert. Schweikert, 2.5 seconds off the pace and overtaking to do. The youngster is got some work cut out for him. Lee Peckham out of 21st. 22nd, Michael Gillespie, nearly 3 seconds off the pace at the moment. Also a long, long way down. Outside of 3 seconds off the pace, Martin Lipsky and Ronald Long at least have each other alongside for the ride. Jason Depp, that's going to be absolutely not a representative lap time. Gretsch will be alongside of him. And Daniel Coleman rounds out the field in 27th.
And they're off. Now we've got somebody there off about the second or third row, very, very slow off the line. But as we shoot down into turn one's almost flat, and then they all come into the second one, and it sort of starts to become single file. And who's in front? Kugiyama's up the inside, trying to force his way into the lead, but fails to do so. So we've got Ethan Morris there consolidating out front. Now we're going to a run up here on second place, but I think track position on the inside there, Kugiyama's really got control of this, Scott.
I think the big thing at the moment is they're going to have to be defensive early, because you've just got to make sure you lock yourself down, settle in, and you're right, Kugamiya really trying to settle himself in. It does look like out of that second row that it's going to be the max boost one, as Kugamiya is going to run wide as they crest the hill for the first time, and here comes McCrone trying to cut his way back in, really trying to settle down in. It was Ocean Colangelo who was the driver that didn't get the good start, dropped all the way back through to 6th. And have a look at the field as they cut their way through. The snake on this opening lap. Just keep an eye on this one. Over the jump and airborne for the first time. Oh, up and over, and on the roof is Mason Harvey, upside down and tumbling through the order. Now that is that corner being parked in a manner that is going to be extremely difficult to extract that man from.
I'm expecting to see a safety car here. Are you, Scott?
Well, I don't know if they've got enough booms in the pit bay for a safety car. We'll have to see if they do. Right, lap 1 is gotten underway. Ethan Morris will still lead the way. Kane Kugamiya, McCrone settled in. Colangelo up to 4th spot. Has come down through, and there was contact that put him on his lid.
Yeah. Wow, that was a nasty little incident. Just happened to catch him right at the wrong moment when he was a little airborne and just shot the car. We do have a safety car there now. So shot the car into the air. Phenomenal.
Jim Stoddart was also talking about something that happened on that opening lap. I'm going to be honest, I get the feeling we may not be the only visitation of the safety car to the circuit here tonight.
makes you think that, Scott? Have you done any laps around here yourself?
I haven't.
Oh.
I can't. Yeah, other cities I certainly have, but not around this one.
So we're going to watch this from. Are we getting a replay here or in safety car? I think we're in a replay, but replay. Yep, we are on a replay now. See here, one goes wide and he just clips him, and that's it. As he came over the brow there, car's like whipped him right in the air. Beautiful. A bit like flipping up.
Tight it is. So this is not at full racing speed, but it's a good opportunity for the drivers to just sort of keep an eye on.
They're doing a lot of getting a sort of level of comp so fast. If you
look, this basically misses the start. Wasn't in gear. Did you notice when the lights went out, everyone else launched, and Ocean just sat there and went, "Oh no, I've got to plug first." So that was the reason.
Yeah,
responded very quickly to put the car into gear, though.
Oh yeah. She did a good job of staying out of trouble. Having been slow and people getting around her without really coming together. So that was good to see. You can see here, it is really quite a narrow little track, isn't it? Can't wait to see the pros here.
So I can tell you, safety car is pulling away. How about that little climb right there? The problem is, the safety car's
left, right, and into that really sharp hairpin. On the outside, there used to be a stone wall and a gate. And on race days, they'd open the gate and open the front doors of the barn and the back doors of the barn. So if anyone went off, you went straight through the barn and didn't hit anything. It was the runoff. And that is a true story for this circuit.
You can't get any more British than that. I'll tell you what. They say that look, we're the backwards ones some days, and once again they'll climb and up and bounce over the hill. Check this right out. Airborne as they crest the hill.
So I think for the last one of these, that very, very tight right-hander, they used to have a gate in an old stone wall here on the outside, so right where the camera is, and they used to open the gates and open the doors of the front and back doors of the barn. Awesome.
Brilliant. Ethan Morris is going to set a new fastest lap of the race, sets to 1:20.335. Is going to lead us away. Qualifying times were down in the 1:19.
5 seconds. We've got Aiden Schweikert on lap 3, passing during safety car.
Wonder whether or not he did hear the call exceptionally late. So, Leo Treya with his shoes broken on the run down the hill. Does he pull this up?
Oh,
just about. He's going to lose a couple spots, but it could have been night over. And he's still out there and still circulating. I can tell you as well, Ian Xu right now is having an absolute go at Tyson Hammer. He actually got down and underneath him, so between the two Vermilion drivers, it is hammer and tongue at each other. Hanma got qualifying done right. Xu did not. Xu's not being quick in qualifying trim, as we've seen him even prior to this series. But his race pace and ability to make overtakes has been supreme, so he can tighten up his qualifying form. Ian Xu might actually look a little bit better.
I'm going to get a head over that little rise there. Into that hairpin again, very, very, very tight. First gear. There's quite a quick run down here onto the main straight and down past the start-finish line. So, good toe, very, very quick. First corner here, flat out through the first corner. Very little lift on the second one, just get the nose pointed in, and then a bit of a lift there to get the nose pointed into the third one, and then hard on it again. It's very quick down through here.
But momentum will carry that speed up through that section. If you're lifting, the guy behind you is probably not going to lift, and he's going to try and get down the inside of the next complex. So you've got to try and carry the momentum. Use all of the road, what little of it there is.
And Morris doing a good job here. He knows he doesn't really have to do too much because it's too hard to pass. So he's just got to not make any mistakes and sit in the middle of the road.
I can tell you about 4 cars out of the lead 6. Off between turn 7 and turn 8, all of them out and in the grass trying to carry too much speed. I think our leader, Ethan Morris, might have been okay, but everyone else behind him running wide.
Hill.
Hard on suspension components around here.
Yeah, very much. It looks like that.
Apparently hard on the front wing structure as well. Clearly, Blair, it's going to be a very, very long transition back to the pit lane, trying to stay out of everyone's way at the moment, and the replay to tell the story.
Oh, look at that. It's just lost. That's the same place we saw the moment before, the big moment down the inside in the grass, same thing. But Willie's lost it, got a little bit loose in the rear, really, and speared it across the road into the fence. So,
Mir just ran the fastest lap of the race, and Daniel McCrone was just very wide at turn 3. So I can tell you right now, Zhu is going to try and get down the inside, and Hammer's lifted to let him in there. Past Darnie, and Zhu takes 5th spot away.
So there's proof you can pass on this place. It just, you've got to really, really put it together. So that's great to see. And good, Tyson being smart. Yeah, there's a point where you can test it, and there's a point where you go, I'll live to fight another day.
Morris is going to line him up and have a crack now as well as he gets extremely close. But this will be single file from here on. To the end of the lap, and there was a big moment through the middle of that for Hammer, but he manages to gather it back up.
I'm actually really enjoying this, Scott.
Yeah, same. I'm thoroughly enjoying this.
Down the inside. Now he's run a bit wide, a bit slow. So can Morris get a run here on Hanma? So he's certainly in the toe, but I don't think he's going to get far enough up.
Covering. Absolutely covering to the inside. Matt Morris looking to try and go the long way around at turn 1. Now he's going to come back at him through turn 2. Can he carry the speed? Up the hill, up and around turn 3 as they tip it back down.
Oh, a little bit of understeer there for Hanma.
And then this section reminds you of Virginia International Raceway down the back straight away. Then in the braking zone. This time last lap, Zhu had just got the job done.
Yeah, I'm guessing there when Zhu got past him that he must have made a little mistake coming onto that straight and just lost his momentum onto the straight.
Oh, Hanma was just all out of shape, and then this battle as well as Ian Zhu versus Ocean Colangelo for 4th on the track at the moment. So keep your eyes on these guys. Well, the reason he's thrown everything was because Hanma looked like he was going for a ride through the infield. Hanma is going to go for a ride through the infield. Does not pull the car up. Flat out penalty. Takes the jump from the off-track section. And is this Formula 4 racing or is this rallycross racing?
He's got a slow down, but he's sitting in the middle of the road and Morris can't find a way by.
There's nothing you can do through that section either. He is really, you can't park. So slow down penalty, whilst it might be a little bit cheeky, cleared in about the safest way possible. I don't know how else he could have served it.
That was wild. No, he certainly got a slowdown, but the thing was, where he got the slowdown was the tightest, twistiest part of the road. There was no way by him, so he just slowed down, and Morris couldn't do a thing. So, unfortunate.
Chases it in, he gets up there, and almost got a case to serve, I think. There's another car off. Is that McCrowan? 7 car? It's not Daniel McCrowan. He's okay, but it'll be one of his teammates.
Sorry, let's get a little, quick little refill there on the water bottle.
Ben Ryder, that is. It's got the front end ripped off that car.
Yeah, and Reese Rolling there having a few issues as well. Now we've got Zhu all over the back of Colangelo, trying to get a run down through here. Come on, Angelo, pat on the grass again.
Oh, by the way, there's less than 5 minutes left in the race already. Where did that disappear to? It's going to be a very quick night. It's going to be a very aggressive night. Again, Zhu is closing millimetre by millimetre, centimetre by centimetre, and exceptionally close to the rear end of Colangelo. Can he rob some more points from Colangelo? He needs to keep his championship hope alive. Morris has still got a margin, about a second now. Kugamiya is looking comfortable in P2.
Oh, Ian Zhu dropping down the list. What's happened? That's Ian. And somebody's clobbered him as well.
Oh, no! Oh, the rejoin!
Gosh.
But it's on the hairpin, and again, it's another one of those cases of where else do you go? But it's being pushed to the absolute limits, you would have to say. And Zhu's going to actually have to come the lane.
Wow.
Does he lose this on his own? Yeah, he does. A little bit too much curve.
Yep. Where did he... Oh, I see where he's listening. Okay. a bit lost on the map.
I think somebody else is going to lose it on their own. So it's Aiden Schweiker that's lost a mirror into his car on his own. And then again, there is a rejoin there, but where is he supposed to go?
And it didn't. I thought he rejoined, but there was plenty of room. It's just, yeah, unfortunately, it just took a bit to get the car going. Here we go, 2 abreast through the fast stuff. No, it drove like down.
And Ocean Colangelo has now just dropped out of the server as well. My word. You look away for a moment and everything changes. With 3 minutes on the clock, running out of time. Matt Morris is on the recovery effort, driving back through after contact. He's made a ton of time on Chris Barnes this lap. And Jason Depp will be the next driver ahead of him, and he just can't do anything. And look at the air he gets as he crests the hill now.
There we go. I'm really feeling for Matt Morris. He was driving fabulously early on. One little mistake there, and it's cost him so dearly. He really didn't deserve that. He was creating most of the excitement of the race, and I was really enjoying his challenges. Disappointing to see he didn't deserve it.
And at the moment, he's still got time to try and get one done. Remember, a minute 19 seconds in qualifying trim is what these guys are doing around here. Minute 21 on the last lap for Matt Morris. He's capable of a little bit better in terms of lap time. He is closing and getting closer to these guys.
And I hear a rumour there may be a bit of dampness on the circuit for the pros just to top it off, Scott.
Oh no, don't. And here goes Matt Morris with the sand down the inside. Gonna get tagged, and around he goes. Just couldn't quite pull it up.
He had to have a go.
The rejoin!
Close.
No, I'm not happy with that rejoin. That is stupidity.
He missed him.
He did, but not by a whisker.
And he's actually just...
Watch this. Oh. And it's Matthew McKeon, Mason Harvey, and Scott Bartain who are the 3 drivers who are coming across that. Nearly into the back. Is that Schweiker? I think no, it's Mason Harvey.
It's a pretty wild little place because you know, if you're going to have a go at going past, it is a bit of elbows out and give them a bit of a nudge and a push and a wink.
Well, I know a few guys that run Supercars series. I might be telling them to run a race here at this rate.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
It might be a time trial event only. As that currently stands. My word. Let's run you through the results at the moment with a minute left on the clock. So probably be 2 more laps at this point in time. Ethan Morris leads the way from Kugamia, Danny McCrone. Tyson Hammer's up to 4th. James Raymakers has moved his way to 5th spot. Great job from him thus far tonight. Leo Dreyer, Stoddart's gained his bunch of spots. Jason Depp, Chris Barnes, Scott Bartain rounding out your top 10. And I think the big key is when you look at a number of those positions, kept it on the island.
Yep. Very, very neatly and quietly. And I'm looking there at Chris Barnes in 9th place. We've not seen a word from him. I haven't seen a replay of a wheel off. And it looks like he's had a really good, steady drive tonight. And there he is sitting in 9th place inside the top 10. So that's a sort of what I would be sort of trying to get out of this evening. Yeah, just a really good, clean run. Last lap's out. Barry's up. What is it, Barry?
Barry
typo.
And you have a look, it looks to me like Barney's taken on a few flag waving lessons because that's a new style of flag waving. Haven't seen him use that method before.
Whoa,
Matt Morris is once again off the road. And yeah, that car has swapped ends quite a number of times tonight. Matt Morris.
Yeah, he's had a tough night. It's a pity he's made a really good start to a pity. Ruined his night. About halfway through. So Ethan Morris, good clean run out front, really, really well driven. I think he will have a nice smile on his face, and I expect he's probably enjoyed his evening. Kugamia, great drive from him tonight too.
Yeah, great job from Kane Kugamia. Reasonable job. And Daniel McCrone's got a championship lead to defend, and I think that looks like a championship leader's worth of drive because he's driven again cleanly when all those around him have lost their heads just a little bit. Hammer will be home in 4th at the moment. This is actually Hammer versus Tyson, I believe, James Rainmakers at the moment. We might actually be fighting away for position on the track. 909, sorry, that's Scott Bartain who's holding off Mason Harvey outside the top 10.
Mason Harvey, I was going to say, I'm sure that's the racecraft livery there of Mason Harvey. But he's certainly got a weird action going.
It reminds me of old flags where they just sort of wave it and bring it down slowly, and then back to the top and bring it down slowly. I do like that method of flag waving. It's good to see Barney's been learning some new skills. For the drivers that are out there, though, Ethan Morris is going to take your race win. And a new set of skills and a new circuit to the service. Kane Kukamia has managed to take P2 from Daniel McCrowan. They have all locked themselves in top 10.
I've got to say, wow, I'm looking forward to seeing Pro now. Woohoo!
And that is Matt Morris pulling off to the side and immediately telling he's had enough of this place. He does not want to come back to Cadwell Park anytime soon. I believe this is Ben Ryder still trying to track down and pick up spots at tail end of the field on Michael Gillespie. Ocean Coliangelo has... Oh, this is tight. Difficult contact made at the final corner. He might just want to redress that before they get the line. Doesn't do so. And that is going to bring us to the conclusion. That is everyone across the line. By the way, they were just tracking and keeping an eye on Ocean Coliangelo. In terms of things, Coliangelo actually finished 4th on the track, but was having connection issues with the server that wasn't logging laps.
Wow. That's
so Coliangelo, I think, finished a couple laps down, but should have finished 4th.
Wow. I'm sure Race Control will look into that and see what the deal is.
Either way, final results as they cross the line from the in-server timing. We'll have Ethan Morris from Kane Kukamia. Daniel McCrowan rounds out the podium from Tyson Hammer, Raymakers, Dreas Stoddart, Jason Depp plus 17 spots to finish in 8th, biggest mover on the night. Chris Barnes and Scott Bartain gets a boxing about the ears to finish in 10th spot. Very, very tight technical racing inside of our top 10 on a tiny, tiny little track. Mason Harvey just misses out on getting into the top 10. Ran down Bartain on the final few laps of the race. Bakir from Gretsch. Coleman. Ian Zhu home in 15th. Was on the move early on and lost the rear end of that car. Nathan Favero from Lee Peckham. John Wade. Aiden Schweikert with the issues and coming a cropper into, I believe it was Ian Zhu. Ronald Long home in 20th. Reese Roland from Martin Lipsky. Ben Ryder was the last one of the last couple of cars on the lead lap from Michael Gillespie. Matt Morris. Ocean Coliangelo, so that looks like a penalty for Morris, which is why he was slower in the final sector. Like we said, Coliangelo came across the line, effectively would have been in 4th, but had a blip that didn't count one of their laps. So there might be some magic that's done to potentially rectify that.
Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, it'll sort of
update for you. We got tonight's race winner to have a quick chat to from the sports series. And ladies and gentlemen, Ethan Morris joins us for a quick little chat. Ethan, a trip over to Britain sees us jump into one of the cultural homes of entry-level racing in Britain, but that looked like that was a challenging little track to just keep the car on the island, let alone drive it quickly. She's narrow and twisty out there.
Yeah, you're 100% right there. The track, you know, if you're trying to get the maximum pace out of it, especially in that last sector, you're trying to wring the car by its neck. It's so loose, it's so difficult, and the curbs, especially in that last sector, it feels like a toss-up between whether it's going to give you a hug and you'll be nice and comfy, or it's going to spit you out towards the barrier sometimes. It's just how this car is at the minute. But hell of a lot of fun. Like, to think that, you know, normally this is a track reserved for bikes and we're racing full-size race cars around it, you know, it's always fun.
Well, you know, I was going to say, they do race full-size race cars here. My mate in the UK raced F3 here and set pole in an F3. And I have the onboard lap, and it's pretty wild in an F3 car, I can tell you.
Yeah, I'll leave that to those guys. You certainly wouldn't see me doing that. I'm happy to keep that in the sim because, yeah, that's it. Even in the sim, it's wild enough. I mean, I'm not sure if it got caught, but I nearly tossed the thing away on the last lap, really just trying to push. So it's yeah, a full-on track, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. And of course, you know, racing with the quality of the field that we have here in the division is awesome. But it's just brilliant to be racing under pressure as well. It's not just a case of me running away with it.
In terms of things, you know, a good win at the midpoint of the season. Are we going to be seeing much more from you as the season progresses? Opportunity to come back, enjoy the remainder of the season as we run down towards the end of 2024?
The idea is that I'll be at the rest of the rounds for the season. Yeah, I'll be hoping to keep up the pole position streak. So far, the 2 from 2 that I've been a part of, I've been able to keep it on pole. So we'll see if we can maintain that because the main thing I need to focus on, I think, for next week will be getting my starts right. It's 2 from 2 that I've almost lost the lead off the beginning. So, yeah, we'll see how we go next week at Manicourt. I think we're going to in France.
Next
Exciting.
week.
And she's a tough technique. She's also that one's more of a test your braking capabilities, that track. So how do you feel late on the brakes and wrapping back for a lot of corners that really double back late?
Yeah, I'd be feeling pretty good about that, but the main thing is I haven't driven that track since I think playing an F1 game on my PlayStation 2, we're going on 15 years ago. So it'll be getting warmed up, the track I haven't driven in a long time. But yeah, in terms of, I think I remember the layout fairly well, so we'll see how we go. But yeah, if it's heavy braking zones, I'll be feeling good about my chances.
Well, congratulations on a race win here tonight, Ethan, and we'll see if you can get pole again next week. Who would you like to give a thank you to tonight?
Big thanks to the FRG guys just for sorting all this out. For a league race, sometimes these can be a little bit daunting where they feel like, they're so over officiated in some respects, but the ability to sort of just jump in for your pre-qualifying and give it a good race, and it's going to be done in a respectful way, and it's easy to sign up for, I think it really speaks to the quality of the guys running it. So big thanks to everyone involved.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Ethan. We'll chat to you again, hopefully in the near future, brother.
Cheers, guys.
Finally, one more podium driver to have a quick chat to is going to be Daniel McCrowan, series leader. Daniel, that looked like a little bit more survival. I caught quite a number of times out there. You were trying to found up Dan's mowing services.
Yeah. What could I say about this track? If anyone out there's thinking of buying it, don't.
But you said that last week about Laguna Seca. The only difference Laguna Seca is free.
Even Laguna thinks these off tracks are rubbish.
Mate, I've got good news for you. You don't have to contend with what the pro guys have got to. I've just jumped in the server. It's
wet.
pissing down in the pro server. Pissing down is the technical term for that one.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Mate,
that's a shame. They've been practicing all week in the dry too with my teammates. So
technical little track, a tiny little place. And next week we're off to Magny-Cours where your braking capability is going to be tested. You feel a lot more confident next week?
yeah, it'd be nice to get back onto a Grand Prix circuit, but yeah, still I don't know that track as well. So yeah, with the pace of these boys tonight, it's going to be really tough heading forward.
Well, mate, let's go ahead and cancel Magny-Cours. We'll throw you to street circuit. Let's throw him to Chicago street circuit. How about that?
Yeah.
Good to see you, Daniel. Good to chat to you. Good to rough you up yet again, mate. And I might join you for qualifying next weekend.
And great drive.
Thank you, guys. Good to chat to you.
Good to see you again, brother. Have a great night. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to step away for just a few moments, but as dry as it looks in that server, it is not dry. It is very wet for our pro drivers, and the spray will tell the story. We'll be back in just a few moments.
It's motorsport, but not as you know it. Test yourself and your everyday road car. Safe, affordable, but most of all, fun. And all you need is your daily driver. Experience the thrill of a sprint day. Race against the clock at a hill climb. Or test your reflexes with an auto test. It takes just 3 simple steps to get started. Get on the start line. Search Motorsport Australia Daily Driver today.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And if you were thinking that maybe just that weather in England has been changing and finally we're seeing glorious sunshine, you'd be wrong. Welcome to the final 6 minutes of qualifying for the Pro Split. And all I can tell you is that there are cars off this place everywhere. Dave, if you want a chaotic race, just add water.
I reckon go sit in a cold bath, turn the fan on flat out, and you'll get the full feel of what the English countryside race meeting is.
Yeah, well...
Going backwards.
Much as the conditions are brand spanking new and the drivers are struggling to adapt to them, guess who's back on top of the timing sheets?
Oh, I haven't looked. Here we go.
Just guess.
Yeah, Damon.
Yeah, you'd be right. Zach Rattray White's going to follow him, but we did see Rattray White on the top of the timing sheets last week. So, hey, somebody's managed to steal one away from him. Could it be 2 in a row? But the problem is, he's 2.5 seconds off. Woods is just... How is the man 2.5 seconds quicker than anyone else? How?
Took a shortcut?
It's just... I cannot believe that. In the meantime, we're being fed some information from the background. Is that the rain has left the circuit, so it will be drying as the night continues on for us. So have a look at the
wind.
Breeze flapping about the trees, yeah.
You sure we're not in Florida?
39 kilometres an hour in terms of wind speed at the moment. It is blowing a gale. It is typical English countryside weather.
We've got Hurricane Roo. Wow, that's wild.
Somebody just... Hayden Millington's attempting to come out of the pits at the moment with a slick tyre on. This is going to go...
Okay, let's ride with him. It should be quite fun to watch. And he's running around the outside edge trying to use the go-kart line. Oh,
he's just
really
not that far off the pace. I'm going to be honest, the car isn't wriggling around all that much.
It's really hard to judge how wet the track is by the spray off the cars, because I think it's one thing iRacing haven't quite nailed yet.
Have a look at the grip he's got. He's actually maintaining with the cars that are around him. And that's Eddie Beswick and Dylan Burst, who are 4th and 6th place in terms of times at the moment. So if he can get some temperature in these tyres, and there is enough time to do that, and get a lap in,
what tyres
there is potential. He's on the wets. But he's got to be able to set a lap. It's not horrific.
That's not...
He kept it out of the wall,
and that's the front wing gone. No, the front wing's okay.
Well, that's going to cost him some time to get some heat into those tyres. It was looking okay up until that point. And if the rain keeps moving away from the circuit, like it is, it's again... Okay, I'm going to... We're putting qualifying... Yeah, no, okay. So the problem I've got is that if these conditions continue as they are, we're going to have a crossover to dry tyres, which is going to instigate a pit stop.
Oh dear. I don't think they'd fit the tyres in the pit lane.
So we do all this fuel tinkering to make sure that there was enough fuel to prevent a pit stop, and we still might end up with one.
Professor Roo.
Dylan Burst has improved his lap time. He's now only 1.3 seconds off his Caleb Hyde, so drivers are continuing to set better lap times, and Zach Rattray White has slid down to 5th spot.
I think I would be reluctant to make a tyre stop anyway, because track position is so king around here that it's very hard to pass. It's narrow. If you're in the dry on wets, you could probably hold everybody up.
Probably. And this is Newton that just rotated the car directly in front of Beswick, I thought it was. Burst, it was Dylan Burst. Sorry, my apologies.
And away we go again. Now we're with on Damon here, watching him. It is phenomenal. He's 1.3 seconds quicker than anybody, so he's pulled that I don't quite understand, but that's pretty impressive.
Jay's going to feed me information in the background. I haven't actually managed to catch up with any of the action from the Formula 4 Challenge, but has there been a wet race in these cars yet? Yep.
How many rounds have we had? Is it
6? We've had 6 races from the 6
So
races
where
from
was the
3
last
rounds.
race? I missed those.
Willow Springs and Spa were the last 2 races. So 6 races thus far. No wet races, by the way, for the International Challenge. The Esports Cup. Have a look at Kalen Shin.
Kalen is a bit of a master of the wet, so expect him to go quite well tonight. He's proved himself in the Super Formula Light. I'm trying to think, Formula Super Light Pro thingy, whatever. But he proved himself in that very, very quick in the wet. So see if he's got that for the F4 as well. Slightly different beast.
We've got a ton of people tuning in at the moment that are just sitting here and arriving. And yes, the conditions are incredibly British, so very, very apt. And we have got about 40 seconds, so starting a lap.
We might need to talk in the British accent tonight.
Probably for the best I don't attempt that. Rattray White's just improved his time and we'll start another flying lap as well as the track continues to dry. There is no more rain, but the rain is not moving at this point in time and the wet line is still sticking around the circuit. And the drivers are absolutely struggling. This, by the way, is a field that on a dry occasion on a GP circuit is covered by next to nothing. So don't sit there and go, oh, this is your average, drivers, this is your average guys. No, these are the cream of the crop. They had to qualify their way into this. And they are fantastic drivers and still look at the field spread in the wet conditions.
Oh, that's straight to the fence.
And for Taylor's going to lose that final lap, and that's Callum Newton that arrives on scene and will go over the top of him. Right as that one happened. Damon Woods is on one more flying lap as well. Burst is going to finish off his lap. That'll be his session now done. Rattray White is coming towards the tail end of the lap. Just before the jump. Imagine going over the jump in these cars in wet conditions. Watch this.
And they're in second place now. Scott, Eddie Beswick, and Eddie last week was crowned Australian Formula Ford champion real world at Phillip Island just a week ago. So congratulations to Eddie, but he's showing how tough it is. He's a winner in the real world in the Formula Ford, which is a great achievement. Fabulous job by Eddie. But there he is struggling to be inside the top 10 in these conditions. So it is a real handful. Unfortunately, Job Stewart's not here. I expect he's still coming back from Bathurst. Job, who runs the F4 here with us, had a fantastic win, decimated the field in the first of the Dunlop Series races at Bathurst, winning by 13.5 seconds. It was brilliant. Drove a fabulous race, but from there the weekend got really bad in the end, DNF the last race. But I expect he's still recovering from Bathurst. Hopefully we'll see him back next week. So it just shows you the quality of the driver. Oh, someone straight off there. Just shows the quality of the drivers that are out here, real world as well as sim world. Fantastic field of drivers.
Yeah, a very, very high level in terms of quality, and yet they still get spread by that much with a little bit of water. I can tell you the pole position margin is still over a second. Rattray White manages to put a flying Sebastian Vandel, who's not a bad driver, by the way, did not set a valid lap time in that session. So he'll be starting from the rear end of the field. And the margin for pole position, over a second.
Wow.
We will never, ever see that margin ever again in this series. That is a massive margin. So Damon Woods, these two went toe-to-toe last week at Laguna Seca for the race when it was this order when they finished and crossed the start-finish line. Dylan Boyce and Caleb Hines are going to round out row number 2. And Shorty Slater and Kane Rudd are going to be off of row number 3, outside of 2 seconds slower than leaders. These guys were only separated by about 28 thousandths of a second. Isaac Becker, it's 18 thousandths of a second. Isaac Becker from Chris Mitchell on row number 4. Mitchell showing he's got some speed in the wet, even though he's from the western side of the country. He's used to things quite dry. Kalen Shin and Jordan Mazzarelli are going to be out at 9th and 10th. I just cannot tell you how close it is. Eddie Beswick from Seth Burchards are going to be outside your top 12. 13th and 14th, Thomas Donahue and Vaughan Ryder. Vaughan a little bit deeper in the field than necessarily he would have liked, and that was Jenny McCrowan, was talking about how they only practiced in the dry. Ben Roberts and Denny Davison in 15th and 16th. Ben Roberts that far back in the field, struggling in the conditions. Chase Saxfield and Callum Newton a lot way further back than they would have been thinking about. Alex Beswick a lot further deeper in the field as well, 19th from Alexander Wilson in 20th. Mitchell Albert and Rishab Banerjee outside of 22nd. Banerjee's been making some ground up just about each and every week. And the final car on the grid, Peter Millington, slapped some dry tyres on, went for a lap because why not? 5 seconds off the pace was the answer that he came to. We do have a couple of drivers on dry tyres, so if you see the W in the column next to the drivers, that means they're on a wet tyre. Danny Davison is going to be starting on the slick.
And
I tell you,
getting back in 16th place, what a good idea. Just give it a shot. What do you got to lose? If it dries up a bit, he's going to fly.
I think he's going to be in trouble though, because he's going to get run over in the first couple of laps. So he has got to play survival for a few laps. But you're right, if he does, he's going to get a lot of track position. Revs are going to start to rise. We are about to go green flag racing. We don't have tyre compounds for a couple of drivers here. Suntig got a good launch. Suntig, Dominic just got hit. Look at the spray. And all of a sudden, Dylan Burse has gone from the second row to the front end of the field. Huge launch from him. Cleans them both up. They both spin tyres off the front row. There's a huge amount of chaos in the midfield. We're going to lose a bunch of cars in this.
Somebody backwards in turn one in the middle of the place, and that was just disaster. But what a start from Dylan Burst. He came out of the line like he shot from a gun. Straight round Damon Woods and disappeared into the distance.
Now they'll crawl their way up the hill and have a look at our drivers there. Crawling their way around the circuit at this point in time. It's still a lot wetter than we thought on the grass. Does he manage to hang on to it, Callum Newton? No, he does not. And Kane Ryder has now just called for a tyre, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Varndel's also cutting his way through on the drive. So we've got not just one driver, there's a couple of drivers. Varndel made his way through, survived lap one, and the best way to try out a track is struggles to pull the car up at the bottom of the hill is to run cars around it on wet tyres. That is going to be clearing some of the water and putting some heat in, but there is a lot of spray still out there.
Wow. I still can't believe that start from Dylan Burst. Two more round the wrong way. Vaughan Ryder. I think that was Vaughan backwards in turn one, wasn't it?
Danny Davison.
Danny Davison. Struggling on those dry tyres. Just hang in there, Danny. Long way to go.
It might have been Kane Ryder who was backwards in turn one, because he is now out of the done for the day. Yeah, well, the dry tyre runners are still circulating at the moment. Just.
Right. But I understand that if you're way back, you've got not a lot to lose, have you?
There's a number of drivers, by the way, that are making for the pit lane at the end of lap number one.
Look at this. Oh, somebody in the air off the start. Did you see that?
Yeah, no wonder there was chaos. There's just enough room to be 3 wide when they get down to turn number one. In the meantime, and it was a touch of the slick line, and I think that might have been Kane Ryder from the head of the field. Anyway, long night at the office for Kane Ryder has already finished off. Track temperature at the moment 17 degrees Celsius. She is an icy cold one. And somehow Dylan Burst is going to hang on to this race lead for the next 27 minutes. He is going to be harassed and he is going to be harangued by Damon Wood.
Right, this is on board with Jordan Mazzaroli on the start line here. So I think this could be the guy I saw flying in the air. Yeah, and look, and he's at the back of the... Is that Chase Axel? Chris Mitchell? One of the racecraft cars. There's Danny Davison coming up right. And now we'll see the chaos up here. We can see just such a pity. Stopped right in the middle of the road. That was a smart move here by Mazzaroli. Just avoid it, just use the grass.
I don't think that was intentional. I think he got tagged from behind. Because there was a sudden jerk to the right. Either way, we are side by side as we run down the start-finish straight. Damon Wood sets a new fastest up of the race. How about this battle? between Geordie Slater, I believe, and Chris Mitchell. It looks like on the run down to turn number 1 as they're all going to try and get in here. No, it might be Burchards. Slater were going at tired, and so in the meantime, and Mitchell's trying to slot that car down the inside and try and pick up a spot. They're still 2 by 2. There'll be a slick line. There will be a better line at the moment. Slater's managing to hang on to it by the skin of his teeth. Another car round. The 29 machine is tumbling down through the field. It is going to be a night of survival as the spray continues to rise from Cadwell Park. Mitchell goes the long way round, looking for a little bit of light from the sharper stones. He's got cojones. He's still hanging it around the outside. Is he going to pick the spot up? Slater's going to have to yield this one. It's going to come back the way to Chris Mitchell. It finally does, and Mitchell finally gets the spot. That was bravery. That was supreme bravery in the win, but it's not done as we come down the field. Come down the hill. Here we go. Slater back down the inside. Does he manage to keep it on the island? Mitchell dipped a tyre in the grass. Just doesn't quite come away with it.
What a move around the outside, the double, but he's lost them. He's lost one at least. But what a move around the outside. Oh, the grass. Oh, gee whiz.
And this, no, not side by side, not into the S's. Please fill back into single file.
Around the outside.
Roberts, it is.
Oh, in the middle of those X's. How did you do that? These guys are crazy.
Respect.
Oh, he's gone.
And he's overdone it.
Boy.
And Thomas Donahue's just requested a tow as well. They're going to have a look at this one. So this car is buried in the barriers. With everything simulated racing entry. Previously Valve Esports.
There's another one where coming back. Alexander Wilson coming back onto the road. It reminds me a bit like Slideways go-karting.
It's like there's oil down. Oh my word.
They're all just trying a little bit too hard on the conditions, I think.
How good was the overtaking from Ben Roberts prior? He looked absolute master.
Outside was superb.
Yeah.
Superb.
And Danny Davison still struggling to pull that car up, so it is still a bit too wet for the dry tyres. Sebastian Vandel started the race on the dry tyre. He has already put the white flag up and surrendered.
Yep. There's somebody with the car left. Geordie Slater.
So we're going to grab a quick replay. This is the run down to turn 1. And that was getting in the background of Jordan Mazzaroli. So that was why the car shot violently to the right for Mazzaroli. That explains everything from his perspective. Now, how about this? Oh no! There goes your race leader. Is Dylan Burst going to be able to save it? Yes, he does! My word! Oh, manages to hang on to it. Around the outside, Rattray White's going to pick up 3rd spot. He only loses 3. He manages to hang on to 4th spot. No, it is 2nd spot. So there's only 2 going through. How has he managed to hang on to that one? Dylan Burst, you better be thanking your lucky stars that Caleb Hydes is right behind you. And now he's going to squeeze his teammate to the inside of the road. This is on for 3rd spot. Caleb Hydes is going to crawl all over the curb. Back to the outside. Well, I've got a newfound fascination for wet circuit racing at Cadwell Park because I love seeing these guys struggle.
It is, like I said, if you want to be the best, it's just another test, and what a test it is. They're sideways everywhere, sliding the cars through these corners. Superb to see the car control.
I tell you what, if this isn't a vote of confidence for iRacing, you're just saying, if you want to really challenge yourself and throw yourself out there, new circuit to the platform. The F4 is one of those entry-level cars. It's brilliant to go racing in. I'm racing this car regularly, by the way. It is so much fun to go racing in. If you have not given this a crack, all of a sudden, I didn't test this place, and I'm thinking I missed the trick. I'm going to. Yeah, I just picked up the track to commentate it here tonight. I'm going to turn laps as soon as we're done here. Chris Mitchell's now had some numbers in the wet conditions. So he's going to lose a spot here to Isaac Becker. He's going to cut his way through, side by side, on the curbing. Mitchell's managed to hang on to the spot.
That's sort of dig your heels in. You're not having that spot, that's mine. Oh, and there's that was just trouble. That was trouble ever since they as soon as they went to look into the corner. So whoever that was, Matthew Hansford-Taylor, like a hole that didn't really exist.
Can we get ourselves a wet sport race next week?
Oh,
Magnicool. I want a wet sport race next week. Ladies and gentlemen, what are home? Yeah, Matthew Hansford-Taylor's just had some drama. That was him, I think, in the final sector. That was he was on the race control about something that's going on there. But a reminder. So this is Hansford-Taylor's onboard.
Yep.
Gets in, and he's adding so much steering input, and then the car doesn't grip, all of a sudden rotates. Doesn't grip, rotates. But also, look at the amount of steering lock he's got on as well. This thing is wandering all over the place. He has to cut the grass, hangs onto it just barely, then down to the final corner. Bang! That's a tough one to call.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know. That is such a narrow corner that overtaking there is nigh on impossible.
Yeah.
But he certainly gave it a red hot crack. I don't know if he was far enough up. So the fans that are watching along at home, don't forget that race that you just saw before the sport, that is open qualifying. You can enter at any stage. Fixed setup racing, qualifying on the Saturday night or Sunday nights from 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. All you got to do, be a part of the FRG Discord and register your interest. That is literally it.
Yeah, Scott, I wonder how many of these guys actually did some wet weather practice and had a wet weather setup ready to go on the car. I'm guessing Damon Woods did for qualifying, but I wonder whether they all just took it for granted that it'll probably be dry and didn't really do any...
Oh, it's Britain. Anyone who came in here expecting a dry race was a fool.
That's sideways, that's off the road, way off the road. All over the place. That's off dancing with the fairies, that was.
And again, I'm going to stress to everyone watching along at home. You're sitting there and going, oh, well, okay, this looks very challenging. Oh, well, you know, there must be just a few average drivers in the field. These are not average drivers. These guys, we've got no hope of keeping up with these guys, I can tell you. They are not average drivers. Yeah, these are some of the best in Australia.
Yeah. And look, to get involved in this F4 and drive it and learn it, some of the benefits out of this, I mean, Damon Woods just missed out on a fully paid return airfare to Valencia to represent Australia in the motorsport games, international motorsport games, in the simulation class racing the F4. That is a possibility if you drive this car. On top of that, Damon Woods, Dylan Burse, Kalen Chin, Caleb Hydes, and others have all qualified for the global finals. That's a $25,000 prize pool. There's $10,000 first prize. Where can you earn that sort of prize money in a real race car? You can't. And then I now see there's another series, I think the Apex series or something or other in the UK. And again, it's like $10,000. I mean, it's huge money. There's great opportunity. If you do really well, there's genuine sim teams in the UK that are looking for fast drivers to run the British F4 Championship, and each season they're looking for new drivers, and that's a paid position to go racing. That's phenomenal. Where do you get that in real motor racing?
You've missed out on the best part, which is the mateship along the way as well.
Absolutely. And the learning and the opportunity in the future, if you're really good with that Apex series, the guys who win it, they get a foot. This was the one that blew me away. The winner of that series in the UK, I think it's the Apex or whatever it is, but it's a fully paid season in F4 in the UK in a real car. That's just phenomenal. You've got to, if you're a young race driver, I really believe that this is your best way to serious real world competition. This is it.
I can tell you, if motocross had a way to do this, I would have been all over it as a kid. I spent a lot of time parked up sitting on top of an oil barrel with the chain off my bike going up and down through the gears because I had a lot of problems shifting. It was the only practice I could get in the middle of a week. It was lit. I spent hours doing that. Just trying to get better and better and better. And imagine if you could sit down and do this sort of stuff to make yourself a little bit better. How about driving around in the wet at the moment? Between 33 machine, which is Alexander Wilson and Richard Banerjee. Remember, Richard Banerjee started outside a 20th spot yet again. He's driven his way through the field, kept it on the island.
Yep, done it. Banging.
Check this overtake out from Wilson. Following him down to the bottom of the hill. Catches the mistake from Banerjee. And Banerjee just goes, yeah, that's probably not worth defending.
But you've got an opportunity with this now that I never had as a kid, but the opportunity these young guys have now to sit on this thing at every spare moment they've got outside of doing their homework and their schoolwork, because that is still super important.
Here goes Vandel driving his way back through the field after applying the appropriate tyre for the conditions. Around the outside of turn 1. Job done.
With a bit more grip than us. What a great opportunity. If you're half good at this, there really is opportunities that, look at that, hang on to it. Nope. Damon Wood was that 33.5.
Yeah, so Woods is improving the lap times as the times continue to tumble. Remember, from our sport guys, they're down to 1 minute 19, so we are still 14 seconds away from what their lap times look like. Such are the conditions on track at the moment. Margins out to 3 seconds now for Damon Woods. Take a ride on board to take a look at what it looks like to drive a Formula 4 car in these troubling conditions around their circuit. And you can see from where they started the session, the lines are looking a lot more regular already.
Yeah, it's looking like it's not as wet as it looks now. Looking a lot better. So see down the inside, they're looking for grip, because out there on the right-hand side, it's very, very slippery. They get offline to try and find the unrubbered part of the circuit that has a little bit more grain in the surface, and that gives a much better grip. That's why you see them driving in these odd lines around the outside and down the inside under brakes and things, because they're looking for that extra grip, which isn't the rubbered part of the road. When you look at the surface of the road with all the stones and it's full of rubber, then it becomes very slick and smooth, so it's like a slick tyre in the wet. Whereas what you want is stuff that hasn't got the rubber in it. All the water's sitting in the gaps between the stones, and the stones are gripping the tyre. So that's why they're offline a lot of the time looking for grip.
And that was Damon Woods setting a new fastest up of the race, down to 33.1, which immediately gets eclipsed by Dylan Burst. So he is now starting to find a little bit of pace as well, starting to come back a touch at Zach Rattray-White. So we're going to have ourselves a battle for P2 in the near future. That margin's now down underneath a second, and that's what it looks like all the way back to those guys. That margin got out to about 4 seconds at the start of the lap, back down about 3.5 at the moment, so still some pace to be found.
It's so easy in these conditions to make a little mistake in the corner, and you've lost a second or a half a second, and it's just gone instantly. So, Damon Woods out there doing a magnificent job. Just in cruise mode, not taking any too many big risks, and just using the parts of the track looking for the grip. Oh God, thought I'd done him a disservice again. Just looking for that extra grip. You can see him up there, not very far up the road. It's not how much you win by. You just got to be in front. That's all.
An issue for Sebastian Vandel. We saw him towing a little bit earlier on. And now, at the moment, Rattray-White's getting held up by lap traffic of Vaughan Ryder, which has allowed Dylan Burst to just close up. There's just nowhere for the traffic to go through that sector, and that's, it's tough. You get annoyed by it, but there's nothing that can be done.
But it's no worse than parts of the lap of Bathurst or anywhere else. There's always...
Not touching that one with the 10-foot pole, Dave.
No.
Oh, right! Zach Rattray-White!
Oh, gone.
The rear end of the car.
Keep it, don't hit anything. Keep the car straight and get back on that road and see how much you've lost.
Well, he's still in front of Kalen Chin, so he still manages to hang on to third spot. Kalen Chin in the wet from the Super Formula Lights, dominated in those conditions, right back when the rain had just landed on iRacing, and this is how the moment from Zach Rattray-White is going to cost him second place. Gets in here a little bit hot, and he's just catching a slide from all the way through, and he was lucky to get through the corner that far.
Hung on to it for ages, and I thought he was going to get it back, but just lost the tail.
At the moment, he's now going to have to look in the rearview mirror and try and hold off.
Hairpin, that's
Chin.
around the hairpin.
Yeah, Beswick's gone again. There's just a number of drivers struggling at the moment. It's probably easier. We never see this field without major dramas, more than a few cars off the lead lap. But I can tell you right now, on pace alone, Mazzarelli, Newton, Albert and Vaughan Ryder are all 1 lap down. Have all had little issues of their own. Kane Ryder, Sebastian Varndell, both at 2 laps down. They've both definitely had issues. I tell you what, we are at Richard Banerjee just went a lap down as well. So we've only got 11 cars on the lead lap. We've still got 10 minutes left in the race.
Wow. So, 10 laps left. Is it drying up, do you think, Scott? Is it ever going to get drying up?
Not enough. Not to the point where it's going to be seconds quicker is the problem.
No. Yeah, the dry conditions don't tear the wets up quite like they do in the real world. That's another thing I think. Yeah, it will get better and better. Who's that round? It's Isaac Becker. The car still looks straight. That's all that matters. But yeah, it will get better and better. And as the knowledge gained from running the wet, they've done a phenomenal job delivering a wet. It's Chris Mitchell around and back around, and that's not around.
It's Isaac Becker. That's how Becker ended up off the track. I was just about to say, those two drivers are actually quite close to each other at the circuit, and Mitchell's now pulled in the lane, and he sits 8th, and I wonder if this might not be an extended stop for him. It might be a rear wing structure, in which case he may be able to get back out there, but I think that was a big enough hit to really knock him around. And a meatball flag confirms some mechanical damage to Chris Mitchell, is going to effectively put paid to his 9. In the meantime, this is now the closest battle on track as Rattray White continues to try and hold off. You can just see the car crawling all over the circuit.
I'm seeing shadows out there now, Scott.
Well, the sun's definitely come out, hasn't it?
Yeah. Definitely some shadows out there. This has been one of the biggest challenges so far, hasn't it, really? When you look at this tonight, with the wet weather and this difficult circuit, what a fantastic event it's been. I really enjoyed tonight. Really enjoyed seeing the pressure on them all. Someone off the road there.
I think that was intentionally trying to get out of the way. It was Sebastian Varndell, just wanted nothing to do with this fight. You can see it coming in the rearview mirror. And Rattray White is sliding this car. If you watch the wheelwork and watch the attitude that's going on from this car at the moment, the rear end is dancing like you wouldn't believe it. He's just trying his hardest to hang on to the spot.
And he's down the inside loop with that grip again.
Right here, the track is near bone dry, very, very close to it. At least on the grippy part of the track. And you can see the line is drying. It's not going to come in quick enough.
Nope. And I know when Roo sets these servers up, he doesn't actually pick the weather. He lets the simulation, represent weather that's representative of the area at the time of the day and at the date of the year. So it's pretty realistic, and whatever you get, you get. So today it was Cadwell Park. How fitting to be in the English countryside with it peeing down rain.
Just watching Jordan Mazzarelli just ahead of these guys. There he goes. He wasn't far away from letting that car dance its way off the road. That line is drying and continuing to dry. Right here, there's little spray, a little bit more spray as they get down the straight. It is drying, it's just not drying enough.
And now Woods, 6.5 seconds out in the lead. And then a further, 5 seconds back to Zach Rattray White in third, with a second back to Kalen Chin. So we're seeing that real battle there for third place. But then it's 13 seconds back. Caleb Hyde's 25 seconds off the lead in 5th place. We've not seen this sort of huge gaps previously in the series, have we?
Ever. The last time we saw them was Super Formula Lights in the wet.
Now, who has done well tonight? And I don't want to put the marker on him. But
Too late.
Beswick there, P6, doing a nice job.
He is very quietly going about his business.
When I saw Beswick come up, I thought, no.
Yeah, what have he done? Yeah.
But yeah, no, Eddie's done a nice job tonight. Kept the car nice and neat and clean. Been off racing in America, back, a bit more Formula Ford. He's won himself a test drive in the DJR Mustang as a result of winning the Formula Ford series. So hopefully that'll happen for him, not too distant future. Yeah, bloody good drive, doing a nice job tonight. Just keeping it clean.
I think one of the biggest things at the moment is, if you take a look at it through Motorsports full stop, is that the guys that continue to be coming towards the fore are the sim racers. Well,
Absolutely.
Kostecki, big sim racer, just won the Bathurst 1000. You were just talking about Job Stewart and how well he did at Bathurst in the older cars.
Yep.
And then, you know, Beswick has just won a Formula Ford title, and Rattray White did just make contact with Alex Beswick, and now he's going to have to defend from Kalen Chin. Traffic is difficult to manage around here in the dry, let alone the wet.
When you talk about sim races, you've got to say Max and Lando. You know, they're sim racers at heart. They love sim racing. Spend a lot of time doing it. So, you know, it certainly helps keep them in the frame. And there's a lot of the guys, a lot of the really quick F3, F2 guys are real sim racers. I know Jack Doohan spends a lot of time on the sim as well.
And one of the big things about Jack Doohan is he's just doing it because he loves it, not because he's out there trying to race the doors off these things. He just big love of having fun with a bunch of mates. The sim is all that he's about. And there's now a blanket approval to tell as we're inside the final 5 minutes. And Zach Rattray White immediately came over the comms and said, "Thank God, I'm done with this." He's sweating up a storm at a third spot at the moment.
Yeah, Calen's really got him under pressure, hasn't he?
Calen's just got to wait for a mistake. There's nothing more he can do.
Yeah, unless there's a mistake in front, really hard to pass. If not, nigh on impossible.
Got down into the 1:32s in terms of lap time now. It's going to stabilise right here.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see it dry a little bit, but in some ways I'm glad it didn't, because having the 30 or 27 cars or whatever it is, trying to dive in that pit lane and change tyres would have just been chaos.
You can see the line progression too from Zach Rattray White, where he was wide in a lot of these corners, and there was the mistake. There's a fraction in deep at the second to last corner. The line's now migrated back to a traditional racing line, and they are touching curbs and things again. They're not attacking the curbs with vigour and throwing the car at the curb and throwing a bunch of throttle and brake at it, but they are back to a more conventional racing line.
I see Barney's still got the flag tucked in his pocket. He hasn't pulled it out yet.
Aiden Millington's driven through to 7th spot after attempting qualifying on a slick tyre. Lost the first challenge.
Ray White just using all the track to make sure that Kalen, there's nowhere he can get by.
The problem that they've got at the moment is it's a tram track, isn't it? As soon as you step off that driest line, you're going nowhere.
I can tell you, it's better in iRacing than it is in the real world. You can't get offline at all in the real world, whereas at least here you can dive down the inside like that, and there's a bit of grip there. But it's treacherous out there. I think Calen's just sort of settled, just keep the car neat. It's better to finish 4th and with a straight car than try and take 3rd and end up with 2 cars on the fence.
Update from the Chin household as well. Calen's focusing on his HSC at the moment. starting as of tomorrow. So, you know, driver that's getting through year 12. Having fun in the race tonight. This is just a relaxation session for him. And he only just picked the track up right before the practice for the race started. So there was no prior preparation for this race.
Yeah, when you're under pressure doing something like HSC, just a simple night off like this, doing a bit of sim racing, can just relax you, take that all out of your mind, and really does help you achieve the big goals in the end. So hopefully he's just having a bit of fun tonight, because I think it'll be fun tomorrow.
Good luck to him as he gets through his HSC. Good luck to everyone out there who will participate in the HSC this year. And 55 seconds the next time past the stripe will be the last lap. I can tell you we are now down to 6 drivers on the lead lap, by the way.
These two guys had a really good run tonight, really nice. You know, bit of company on the road, watching each other make mistakes, and oh, there we go, sideways goes Ray White again. But I bet they're all both smiling and laughing.
Kalen Chen is getting a touch closer now.
Yeah.
The big thing for these guys is about 18 seconds back to the next car, which is Caleb Hyde's. There is the white flag. Barney, the famous man in the stands, gets the flag out to let the drivers know there will be one more lap left to run from tonight's wet affair. And have a look at the line now on the main straightaway. You can tell which section of the track the drivers are running on.
Sure can. These two guys, the only really guys really close together on the road are these two, and they can just have a nice, safe last lap. That's all I wish for.
I don't know about that. Kalen Chen's a lot closer than he has been at any stage here tonight. He is going to get to the outside of Rattray White on the run down at turn number 4. He's got the nose ahead just. He's the long way round on here. It's a little bit wetter as it is, but the stones, they bite a little bit harder around the outside. It's going to take bravery from Kalen Chen, but he is taking it. The young kid that's going through year 12 at the moment. Long way round. It's the chicane. Left back to the right, and Rattray White is going to rotate it out of third spot. Will lose the spot. They went toe-to-toe for as long as they possibly could, and that is as far as Zach Rattray White could take it, hanging on to third spot.
Good news is he's not going to lose another spot. He's got 20 seconds up the road from 5th place, so he'll hang on to that. But that was a good bit of racing there. Nice move. That was the Chris Mitchell move around the outside there that Callum pulled. Really well done. Congratulations, Damon Woods. Clean pair of heels. Where is second place? 13 seconds back is where he is. Here he comes. Dylan Burst coming through for second place. Oh, slowly. Are we out of
formation finish for a couple of the Eclipse guys coming along together? I believe that was Dylan Burst and Kalen Chen coming along side by side. Second and third for those guys. Rattray White will manage to hang on to 4th spot. Another fun battle with those guys.
Well, that was a tough night for the boys tonight.
Oh boy, that was a challenge like you would not believe. 7th and 8th was incredibly close out the track as well. Alex Wilson and Beswick. Who was sitting in that 7th spot earlier on? Was it Hayden Millington? It was. Millington dropped, I think, 2 spots.
Good drive there by Vaughan Ryder again tonight. Vaughan sort of debuting in the Pro Series. He's come from our sports series in Formula Ford, so he's done a great job.
That was a challenge tonight. It still is a challenge for these guys going on. Through the final sector for Vaughan Ryder. Has 12th spot at the moment. Mitchell Albert trying to come back at him a little bit, I believe. But this will be the final couple of drivers who will cut their way through and finish the racing action. Yeah, so it's Vaughan Ryder up ahead. Mitchell Albert trying to go around the outside. Doesn't quite get there in the end. Runs out of real estate to get it done. What a night.
It's good. I like something new and exciting and different. I don't want to watch the same guys go around the same circuits every week. That was really good fun tonight. I enjoyed that.
Certainly was. Damon Woods is going to dominate yet again in the door. Esports crossed with Eclipse. That's why you see the car in two separate colours, one on either side. Dylan Burst home in P2 from Kalen Chin in the formation finish. Zach Rattray White had a phenomenal battle all night long. Caleb Hyde's home in 5th spot, managed to hang on to the lead lap. And Eddie Beswick, 6 drivers on the lead lap. That is how challenging it was.
Wow.
First drivers off the lead lap, Alex Wilson and Alex Beswick in 7th and 8th. Millington started on the dry tyre in qualifying, brought the wets back out for the race. 9th and 10th home. Rishabh Banerjee grabbed a whole bunch of spots, as he has been all season long. Callum Newton from Vaughan Ryder outside your 10. Mitchell Albert, Matt Ciroli, Kane Ryder going to round out your 15. Front 3 of those, 1 lap down. The next 2 laps down. Sebastian Vandel, first of the drivers home, 3 laps down, was having a lot of problems with Chris Mitchell after that incident where the rear wing copped a big old whack. 5 laps down. But he still managed to come home ahead of Isaac Becker, was the driver who clouded that rear wing. Geordie Slater and Becker both home 6 laps down. Saxhill, 8.
I think from Chris Mitchell back, we've got retirement there, Scott.
Yeah, potentially. Matthew Hansford-Taylor, 14 laps down. Bert Chart, 17. Ben Roberts, 18. Dominic Hugh and Danny Davison all at 18 laps down. So they would absolutely be your retirements. It was difficult for Ben Roberts because he cut his way massively through the field and then just, lost the rear end. And over and out she was.
Get it into the fence. Yep.
Well, ladies and gents, we're going to jump quickly through our podium here. And we're going to take them in reverse order tonight. We'll start from the bottom and talk to the man who has been studying hard all week long. It's been a difficult one for you, I think, tonight, Kalen. Dad was telling us that you've only just picked up the track. Put a lot of study work in behind the scenes, mate. How good was it to be able to get out there and have a cracking old battle with Rattray White?
Yeah, it was a ton of fun at the very end. I mean, he did kind of go off, which kind of ruined the battle, but yeah, I kind of wish we had more side-to-side battling, but yeah, it was a ton of fun. Not a ton of fun at the start with like everyone going off. It was pretty scary, and just keeping it on the road. And yeah, minimal practice, but I'll take a P3 after a disastrous.
Mate, I mean, not as easy going as it was in the Super Formula Lights in terms of the wet conditions back when everyone was just coming to grips to it. But talk us through such a tricky set of conditions, because normally you'd be looking for such a different line, but there's not really enough room in a lot of these corners to actually go searching for an offline line. So sometimes you just got to hybridize it, and there's nothing more you can do.
I mean, I found that out the hard way in every single lap I attempted in practice. Just experimenting. I tried the inside and the outside every single corner, and it was different every lap. And so, I don't know, I'm very glad that the race and quali was not full wet, otherwise I would have gone off every lap. But yeah, it was very difficult, especially when the tires were hot and just there was like a auto spin at the bottom of the hill at the right left, and then when it goes down, like, I could barely do anything sometimes. The rear just snaps, and just trying to maneuver that was difficult throughout the race, but you know, I managed it.
Mate, well, congratulations on the finish here tonight. Good luck with the HSC, and who would you like to give a shout out and a thank you to?
Of course, I have to give a shout out to Damo for the setup. Would not have done it without him. My mom, my dad, of course, as you guys all know, for supporting me, and of course everyone at Eclipse Simsports, Damo, Bruce, or Dylan, Caleb, Eddie, Matt, and of course you guys in the booth for hosting this event. Yeah, HSC tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes.
Good luck.
Best of luck, have fun.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kalen Chin is going to round out a third position here tonight. We'll take one step further forward. It's going to be chatting it to Dylan Burse. Bursey, that was trials and tribulations, mate. You got through. The launch was phenomenal. And then you bowled a little bit of a wide and that rear end came around on you.
Yeah, nah, launch was locked in. Most demure thing I've ever done. But yeah, nah, yeah. I mean, I just went a bit inside on the racing line that lap and just lost the drifter. So what do? I still came second, which is around where my pace was at, so I'm happy.
Hey, talk us through challenging night in terms of changeable conditions here at Cadwell Park, because everyone was coming in a little bit underdone, and then the heavens opened up, so it just changed things massively.
Yeah, I know, right? Like I sort of knew it was raining, so I did some practice for this round, and yeah, that helped massively. I was rocked up to practice, not off the pace, so that was nice. Yeah, done that. The conditions in the race were pretty average. Like I was a lot better in the really wet stuff, but as it sort of got a bit more dry and the tires got more bad, it was pretty sketchy. Lost it a few more times purely from talent, so that was good.
Mate, sounds like everyone was struggling quite a lot tonight. We only had 6 cars finish on the lead lap, which we were all sitting here in the commentary box. It never happened. This series has just never happened for this series ever before, mate. But yeah, sounds like it was a lot of fun out there on the circuit. Who would you like to give a shout out and a thank you to?
Shout out to the boys at Clips, you guys for streaming, especially Damo and Zachrat for just being good little guys out there, not shunting. Yeah, Damo for not driving into me. That was pretty sick. Stared into his soul, the little cutie, so no, that was alright. But no, I mean, yeah, cheers everyone.
It's good to finally get confirmation of the Bruce and Damo bromance on stream, mate. So thank you very much for confirming that.
Cheers, Daddy.
Thanks, Brucey. Have a good one. And finally, ladies and gents, we're going to be chatting to tonight's race winner, David Woods. It's another night in victory lane, mate. But boy, that looked like the hardest challenge that you've faced thus far.
Yeah, that combo was something else, to be honest. That was pretty miserable. The track itself was quite fun in the dry, just the hot lap. It would have been impossible for racing, but yeah, fortunately it was wet, so we didn't have to deal with that. But then yeah, it was super one line everywhere in the wet, and if you just got unlucky with like a ghost puddle, you just got spun around straight away and prayed that no one would drive into you. So I'll take the win, but to be honest, yeah, it was a pretty interesting night for sure.
Mate, we're just talking to Percy. He said, man, I just want to thank Damo for not running me over. Gee, I'm so glad that he didn't hit me.
Yeah, we were looking at each other for a while. We nearly kissed with that much eye contact. It was yeah, it was pretty insane. He was in voice comms just saying stop, 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 and yeah, I was hard on the brakes, trying not to straight line him there.
Mate, like you said, challenging circuit. Everyone was struggling, I think, out there tonight. I mean, you said fun to lap in the dry, but boy, look, it's the same for everyone. It's the same difficult old challenge, and some come out on top. I mean, talk us through driving in the wet around here. You look for the alternate line, but there's not enough room to find it.
Yeah, you got to be super precise on where you place the car. There's not much room for error offline, and especially trying to run the wide line as well, where you've got less than half a car width, to the outside from the slippery stuff. So yeah, it was super critical just to be like locked in and not on the verge of crashing everywhere. And to be honest, yeah, early on in the race, Dylan and I played it super safe. We were half driving the fast stuff. We're not committing. But yeah, it was properly mentally challenging.
Mate, finally, congratulations. And who would you like to give a shout out to? I guess you'll start with your favourite bromance in sim racing.
Yeah, I got to thank Dylan Burst for always looking out for me and making sure I didn't straight line him. So big ups, Brucey. Big thanks to the Eclipse boys for always putting on a good fun night in the voice chat. Door Esports for all their support as well, and the FRG crew for putting on fantastic events as always.
Mate, congratulations, and head on over to the boys, because I believe they're going to rough you up over the big new bromance, so go have fun. Oh,
mate, don't worry. The bromance has been there for a while, don't worry.
It's now just official on stream.
It's official to the world now.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to bring us to the conclusion of a fun old race night here from Cadwell Park. If you want a challenge, just add a little bit of water at a great British racetrack. I'm off to do laps of that combination tomorrow, I can tell you. I'll lock the sim in, gonna find some time, gonna make it happen. But next time out, this is probably one of my underrated tracks on the sim, and I love it in Porsche Cup cars. Well, what are the guys gonna be able to offer us? It's fast, it's flowing, it's got a lot of corners that double and then triple back on themselves. It is going to be tight. There's sections where it's single groove. You have to bounce over the curbs. It is Magny-Cours, Dave. It is a famous circuit in the French countryside. This will be a challenge.
It's a beautiful, fast circuit. lots of high speed, mid corner, high speed corners. It's going to be fantastic. And I think there's multi-lines, and I expect to see a lot of passing next week.
Well, you have to keep your eyes out for that. If you want to join in for the stream next week at 8:25 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, that's when the sport race, though, will be starting. If you want to qualify your way into that Formula Racing group over on Discord, get all of the Discord information in. You can join the server. I did qualifying, not this weekend, just gone. The one prior at Laguna Seca. I'll be back out with... hopefully not my wellies on this Sunday to be putting some practice in for Magny Core, because it is a phenomenal racing circuit. We'll hope to see you all then, ladies and gentlemen, from England, from the wet countryside, from Lincolnshire. We'll bid you adieu. We'll see you next week when we head to France for more Formula 4 Esports Australian National Championships.
Weekend in, weekend out, Motorsport Australia officials are making waves. From waving flags, waving cars through pit lane, or responding to a wave for help. Wave hello to new lifelong friends. Who knows, you might just make waves around the world. Ride the first wave. Search Motorsport Australia officials today.